This is Mad Movie Mark with Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1980 drama Babylon.
It's that Count Me Out.
Hey, there's no reason for that. Stick around. This isn't going to be a very long review, I promise. I'm reviewing every movie that has 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm giving them all a score of 1 to 10. After I watch them and score them all, I will rank them from worst to best. I started in the 1920 silent movie era, and now I'm at 1980 with Babylon. This movie has the largest gap between the critics and the audience that we have seen and that we will see. I kind of looked ahead. There's no other movie that has this far of a gap. So the critics gave it 100% fresh rating. The audience gave it a 45, which is, oh man, the audience gave this a 45. That's pretty bad. So do I think it deserves one or the other? Do I think it falls somewhere in the middle? I'm going to tell you that right now. So this movie basically it follows a man named Blue. Blue is Jamaican. He is living in the UK. He is involved in this thing called a sound system. I believe that's what it's called. So him and his friends, what it seems like is that they buy records with original audio on it, original music on it, and then they kind of add their own music or rapping or something to it during these like band battles, I think is what it is.
Well, no, sir. It's a serious business you're dealing with now, you see? It's true and exclusive to me, you understand?
Around. And this ganja here, exclusive to I.
So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build up a music system in this movie, but while they're doing that, they're facing a lot of racism. So Blue, he faces a lot of racism at his work.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially for a coon. I don't like monkeys who get too clever in my garage.
He faces it in the neighborhood.
I know exactly what's going on. There must be at least half a dozen of them. They come jumping out of that van over there, they come in here, and they play their bloody jungle music all night.
You don't mean blacks, do you?
Yeah, blacks.
The big ones with the curly hair. Wogs, yeah?
And he faces it from the police. I will be perfectly honest, there's a scene in the movie where he's being chased by the police, in which I did not realize they were the police. This whole chase scene that's going on, I just thought it was a bunch of people who were trying to beat him up. I did not know it was the police, but apparently it was.
Hello, MP from Charlie Foxtrot 3, over.
He don't like mouthy bastards.
Suspect detained. We're taking to Yankee Romeo.
I honestly found this movie a little bit hard to follow. One reason was because I couldn't find a version that had subtitles. And even though this is a English-speaking movie, their accents are so strong that I really had a hard time a lot of times understanding what they were saying and what exactly they were doing. Also, in the beginning of this movie, they throw a lot at you. There's a lot of characters they throw at you. You don't really know what's going on, really. Then as the movie starts to go, you kind of are able to piece stuff together. They have one friend who is white, and he's kind of the one white person, I guess, in this town that isn't racist. And he's at the end of the movie, he's kind of the guy that they take all their frustrations out on because, he's the one white guy who they can do that to and not really face any repercussions. So in this movie, the group of friends, like I said, they face a lot of racism. They face a lot of violence towards them. They are able to give it back, though. So they fight back. They don't just take it. Now, there is a scene in the movie where one of them really wants to go fisticuffs, and their friends kind of pull them in and reel them back and say, this isn't something that we should do. Like, this isn't going to help anything. This isn't going to help our cause.
Beefy, you want to start a war? Yes, man! You want to erase war? Beefy, listen! Beefy! Beefy! If you go up there and fight that guy, then what are the floods you deal with? Too late! Beefy!
But I'll also say that these characters aren't completely redeemable either, which it was hard for me to really root for them all that much. I mean, I did because what they were going through wasn't right. But the main character Blue, there's a scene later on in the movie where he confronts his girlfriend who he thinks is cheating on him, and he says he just wants to hit her, he just wants to punch her. Like, what if I just hit you right now? What would you do about it?
So this was it.
Look, right? It was Deirdre's brother and he goes out with Beverly. Anyway, it's got nothing to do with you.
What do you mean it's got nothing to do with me? Do you know how long I've been waiting outside your house?
I don't care how long you've been waiting out.
You don't care?
No!
You
Listen, right?
And for me, that kind of any feelings I had toward him kind of went away right there because I didn't really think that was needed in the movie. I didn't really think it belonged. And honestly, this movie is just like a lot of different scenes that jump, and I don't know where they're going or where they came from. There's one scene later in the movie where Blue, he kind of leaves his house because there's an argument between his parents, and he goes and he meets up with some friends, and these friends end up pretending like they're gay and they're trying to pick up another gay guy, and they beat him up for his money, which I don't know where this came from, like why this was important in the movie. I guess maybe to just paint the scene as to how this neighborhood is and how it works. But to me, this movie doesn't really do anything new. It doesn't do anything exciting. I thought the acting was okay, but I didn't think it was anything spectacular. The same with the writing. I mean, it's weird to me that there's a movie where this group of people, they're persecuted and they're kind of attacked and they're hunted, really. But somehow you don't really like care that much about them. You don't really understand maybe what they're going through. You don't understand fully their emotions that they're going through. You don't fully, I mean, you see it through Blue, but you don't really see it through a lot of other characters. I don't know if this is a writing issue or if it's a directing issue or what it is, but there was just no real characters that I grasped onto and really cared about that much. For me, this version that I watched, the cinematography wasn't that great. The film quality wasn't that spectacular. I will say that I watched it online. I don't own this movie, and the online source that I watched it on wasn't probably the best source to watch a movie on if you're looking for quality. But there were weird parts in this movie. I don't know if it's just the version that I watched where there's no dialogue, there's no sound. Like people are talking, their mouths are moving, but you can't hear any audio with it. There were some pretty crucial scenes where I believe a lot of the racism that was happening towards this group of people was happening in these scenes, and I couldn't hear what was going on. So, like, they were far less impactful on me than if I would have actually been able to know what was happening. That being said, there's not a whole lot of things I have to say about this movie. I don't think it's like a fantastic movie, but I definitely don't. It's not 100%. It's definitely not a 45%. I mean, it's not a terrible movie. It's not fantastic. It's for me, it's probably, since I don't live in the UK, since this isn't the type of music that I listen to, since I didn't think the characters were that redeemable, and I didn't think the characters were all that exciting or all that interesting, it's just not the kind of movie for me. Now, obviously, this movie has an audience, and there are people who will love this movie and defend this movie and love this movie. And maybe there'll be people who say, "Oh, I saw a bad copy of it. I really need to buy it and see like a Blu-ray version or a better version of it. Maybe I'll get more out of it." Sure. But what I was able to find and what I watched, I didn't think it was all that spectacular. But that being said, there are more movies. There are other movies I've seen that have done far worse things than this movie did, that have made me more angry than this movie could have ever made me. So that being said, I still give this movie a 7 out of 10. I hope you join me next time when I will be reviewing Fanny and Alexander. It is a little over 3 hours, so hopefully I can get it watched and reviewed by next week. We'll see how it goes. But next up will be Fanny and Alexander. Thank you. Have a great day.